Local leaders today discussing a push to ditch the state's guidelines for reopening. Aztecs football planning to play next season's home games out of town, the place they'll call home for the 2021 season. And local nurses protesting over a bonus for their hospital CEO after they were laid off. ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
Great to have you with us on this midday. I'm Jim Patton, and I am joined remotely by my co-anchor Virginia Cha and 10 News meteorologist Megan Perry. Great to see you two once again, and we'll be with you very shortly. Actually, Virginia, I understand we're going to go to you right now. That's a little unusual, but go ahead and take it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jim. The San Diego City Council considering extending the measure that allows businesses, including salons, gyms, and religious places of worship, to expand outdoors. Now, it was passed early last month, and the council could decide today if it will stay in effect for the year. The program has been a lifeline for businesses. A similar one allows restaurants to expand onto private lots as well as streets. And some local businesses fighting to stay afloat will be getting a big financial boost starting today. So they will be able to sell gift cards that customers can redeem at a later time. Customers can also receive extra money depending on how much they spend. The first round of cards sold out in 4 days.
Actually a digital gift card sale that connects consumers. So you're able to go through and buy a $25 gift card to some of your downtown favorite locations. And for every $25 purchase, you get a free $10 that's actually funded by philanthropy.
That means the person buying the card gets more than what they paid for. This is extra revenue for the businesses on the receiving end as well. Today's round of cards will be available online starting at noon. Jim?
Virginia, right now there is a showdown over reopening our economy playing out at the County Board of Supervisors meeting. Some arguing we should go against the state's tier system. ABC 10 News anchor Mary McKenzie is at the County Administration Building.
They just started this political debate at the County Board of Supervisors meeting. So far, there are more than 70 public comments expected. Meanwhile, there are many business owners who feel caught in the middle of it and feel the stakes rising by the day.
We're dying too. And it's one life for another now.
Angie Weber owns Cowboy Star Restaurant and Butcher Shop. She says they will open today and stay open regardless of the consequences because they have to survive.
We're at the end of our rope when it comes to the politics and how it's being used against us.
Two of the most vocal county supervisors on the topic of reopening taking to social media.
I'm going to be making them.
Jim Desmond saying in a Facebook video that the current state metrics will make it impossible for the county to reopen more businesses. And on the other side of the issue, Nathan Fletcher calling Desmond's plan reckless. Today, Desmond is making a motion to move forward independently and no longer enforce the state's open and closure guidelines, saying that as a county, we've been put in an impossible position, leaving too many people's livelihoods at risk. Supervisor Fletcher responded saying his plan would be irresponsible, discounting lives lost. Last week, the latest state numbers showed the county's COVID-19 case rate was up from 5.8 to 6.9% per 100,000. If we get over the magic number of 7%, it would move the county into the state's purple tier, the most restrictive, which would likely trigger closures again if the numbers stay up for 2 weeks. Numerous callers joining the debate between the supervisors to offer their own opinions. We're expecting an update from the governor today about the state's tier system and new numbers from the state, as well as the results of the vote on Desmond's plan expected today. From the County Administration Building, Mary McKenzie, ABC 10 News.
Well, no Aztecs football this year, and now, assuming there are games next year, you will have to go on a road trip to see them play in person. San Diego State announcing the team will be playing all their games next year in Carson. Games planned in both the spring and the fall will be played at Dignity Health Sports Park. That is where the Chargers played last year. SDSU says they are making the temporary move to help speed up progress on a new stadium where they hope to play in 2022. Officials are holding a news conference with some more details this afternoon. We will have those details for you on later editions of ABC 10 News. Jim.
Well, new this morning, nurses angry, frustrated after Palomar Health CEO signs a new contract with a 20% pay bump, while many of them are still unemployed after being laid off amid the pandemic. In a protest at Palomar Medical Center, ABC 10 News reporter Vanessa Paz talks to nurses who are outraged and say the center is not looking out for their best interests.
The message from nurses and caregivers Tuesday morning was clear.
It's a question of priorities for the entire healthcare system.
Frustration and anger built after a 27-month contract renewal was signed by Palomar Health's CEO, Diane Hansen. It details a base salary bump close to $1 million with potential of earning bonuses, almost doubling that amount. Frontline workers argue that because COVID-19 led to an increase of patients and layoffs of caregivers and nurses.
The board should have invested in resources and more protective equipment. At this time, some of the protective equipment that's given to these workers behind me is not even medical grade. Additionally, it is important for everybody who has been laid off to be brought back.
Reps for the California Nurses Association, including Sarah Gerling, protested against the board's decision, arguing funds should have been allocated towards other resources within their facilities.
Caregivers and nurses are the heart of the hospital. We know what's best for patients. We know what's best for each other. The hospital executives and the Palomar board has lost sight of that.
Meanwhile, Richard Engel, the chair for Palomar Health's board, stands behind the decision, saying Henson did a tremendous job and credits much of the hospital's success was accomplished through her work. Engel also said her new salary is comparable to other hospitals' CEOs. But registered nurse Sue Phillips said their efforts will continue no matter what.
We want the community to know that we're here, that we're going to keep fighting for them, and that it's more than just the bedside. We've got to get out in the community and let them know what's going on.
Vanessa Paz, ABC 10 News.
New details this morning about the city's plan to buy 2 hotels and use them to provide housing to hundreds of homeless people. San Diego is saying it's received nearly $40 million in state grants to fund the plan. Since the pandemic started, some of the city's homeless have been housed in the convention center. Now, some of the people staying there would transition into these hotel units. The city wants to buy 2 Residence Inn locations, one in Kearny Mesa and one at Hotel Circle. In all, the hotels will be able to house more than 400 people. This morning, police are looking for the gunman in a fatal shooting that happened in Ocean Beach overnight. Officers responding to the shooting by the lifeguard tower about 1 o'clock this morning. The victim shot multiple times. First responders tried CPR, but he was declared dead at the scene. Now, police are still looking for a suspect, but don't have a description at this time. Virginia?
Thank you, Jim. Overnight, police started searching for an arsonist who lit a fire in the parking lot of the Logan Heights police station. Now, it happened just after 11 last night. Fire crews found some sort of incendiary device at the scene. Investigators were called in. Police are now looking at images from trolley security cameras to find the person who did it. This morning, Middle Eastern leaders are gathering at the White House for official historic diplomacy agreements. Now, this morning, leaders from the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, and Israel signed the deals. The countries recently announcing plans to establish formal diplomatic ties with Israel, becoming the first Gulf Arab nations to do so. The president, whose administration has been working to broker the deals, called them historic. Palestinian leaders have criticized these deals, calling them, quote, a stab in the back. But the White House says they're hoping other countries will follow suit. Now to the campaign trail. About a month and a half before the election, both candidates talking about climate change after the president's visit to California. ABC's Faith Abube has the latest.
Before holding a large campaign rally in Phoenix, Arizona, President Donald Trump stepping into a climate change controversy in wildfire-ravaged California.
It'll start getting cooler. You just watch.
I wish science agreed with you.
Well, I don't think science knows, actually.
Joe Biden in Delaware sharply criticizing the president for his views on climate change and science in general.
It's science, and our response should be the same, grounded in science, acting together, all of us.
This as another controversy over politics possibly overriding science brews in Washington. The president's top spokesperson at the Department of Health and Human Services facing backlash after a report in Politico claims he was pressuring CDC scientists to change their weekly reports on the COVID-19 pandemic to better align with the president's more optimistic messages. As the death toll from the virus closes in on 200,000 in the U.S., President Trump defends his handling of the virus in a newly released audio excerpt from an interview between him and Washington Post journalist Bob Woodward for his book, Rage.
More could have been done. Nothing more could have been done.
Well,
I acted early.
And tonight, President Trump will be in the battleground state of Pennsylvania for an ABC News town hall. He'll be taking questions directly from uncommitted voters who could decide this election. And Joe Biden will have a similar town hall event on Thursday with another network. Faith Abube, ABC News, Washington.
And about the president's town hall tonight, just want to let you know you can watch it right here on ABC 10 at 9 p.m. Jim?
Of Virginia, the city of Louisville has reached a multi-million-dollar settlement with the mother of Breonna Taylor. The 26-year-old was shot and killed in her apartment after police served a no-knock warrant on March 13th. None of the officers involved have been charged with a crime. As part of the settlement, there will be reform of police practices. This comes as a Jefferson County grand jury may screen the criminal case as soon as this week. Grand jury would decide whether criminal charges should be filed against any of the 3 officers involved.